Yeah, first of all, I just am a big Coquise Washington has been a trusted colleague for a really long time, and I think she's doing a great job building this program. And I also just had a wonderful thrill to be able to tell Coach Stringer what an example she's been to me through the years about really caring about kids and their hearts and having a deep impact. And we actually these two right here get the benefit of Coach Stringer's influence as she coached Shannon LaBeouf, my associate head coach, and now her then impact on these young women. And so just really want to pause and say thank you to Coach Stringer. Thank you to Coquise Washington for the way she's building her program. And thank you to all of you guys that are telling the stories of our great game and moving it forward. It's really, really important. So, we just are focused one game at a time. We're thankful to be 1-0 against Rutgers, and that's the only thing we're thinking about. We're trying to learn from this game, what it taught us, and then move on to trying to be 1-0 again.
Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Having Lauren Betts, that's a stretch 5.
She is a stretch 5. You're the first person that's called her that, I think. Good job. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. How is it calming for you to have a stretch 5 versus Lauren Betts, and you can win so many ways because they pack it down, you can swing the ball to 2-3. So how's it calming for you to have so many dimensions to beat a team?
Well, I think that's exactly right. The word is team. Lauren obviously has an incredible impact on both sides of the ball. But, she is a great center, but she's a versatile center. Tony and I were talking, this was his scout at halftime, and we were talking about maybe rotating her on number 1 for them, who was, hurting us in the first half, and knowing full well she could get out and guard on the perimeter and move her feet. She's proved it over and over again. We didn't end up going that route. We had her be able to be in drop coverage as a help side defender, but the list of impacts on the game that she makes are endless. And that's when you have a really, really elite player. And when you combo it with a really, really elite lead guard, that's pretty tough to stop, and that's why our record is what it is.
Hey, Coach, for all three of you, what has this week been like? Because I was trying to think, has there been, you play a Thanksgiving tournament, you're there for a couple days, but not middle of the season having an 8-day road trip or wherever this is going to end up being for you guys. So what has it been like from that standpoint?
Yeah, it's definitely been a pretty... Okay, all right. Yeah, it's definitely been a very long trip. It's been hard being away just because school, and we're having to figure out classes online and everything. But obviously, we're traveling with a academic advisor. That's been really helpful. We went to New York after our Baylor game, which was really fun. A kind of way to reset and get away from basketball for a little bit. We're just continuing to figure out how to handle these longer road trips. And I think we're doing a good job of figuring out the mix of downtime versus, time together as a team and everything, and still finding time to to regroup and everything. But, it's definitely challenging. It's not easy being away for this long.
I think it's one of the reasons why I wanted to come here is just because I'm surrounded by such a great group of staff, and I think they understand, how we are as people beyond basketball, and they respect that we're going to be tired at times and mentally we're not going to be able to do it sometimes, but I think that they understand that and they see that and they give us the time to take care of ourselves and prioritize, our mental well-being. And so I think that just taking that time off as a team is super important, and obviously just whatever we can do to just making sure that we're competing at the highest level, but also taking care of ourselves.
It's a real challenge, especially as a quarter school, and the reality that it's compounded with is that we missed a week of school when they got canceled because of the fires. And so when you add that to then leaving, it's been really challenging. Academically, when you're with each other, don't have a lot of places to go. It's not like you're strolling outside in New Jersey in the cold on your off time, right? So I think it is challenging. And I think this whole first Big Ten year is going to be about listen, observe, adjust, and over again. Even just last night, we had our LIT group, Leaders in Training, and Shannon asked our leadership group, okay, what do you need? Where are you? How do you feel? And we've already made some adjustments in our itinerary moving forward. So I just think that's going to be the way it is all year long. And we chose this, and we want to be a part of the best conference. It doesn't make it that it's not really hard, but we're going to have to make adjustments as we go.
Seems like Rutgers tried to slow the game down towards the end of the first quarter, switching the zone. Then you guys got back in business on offense in that second quarter. Was there anything that you noticed in particular that really kind of spurred that offensive outburst in the second quarter?
Well, I thought we started doing a little bit more off the pass. I thought we were dribbling too quickly versus their zone in the first quarter and really challenging our guards to create ball movement and ball reversal versus the zone. And one of our players that's actually sitting out this year, she made a great point in the locker room after the game, Charlize Ledger-Walker, about just when we find something that works, our next point of maturity is just to keep doing it. And I didn't think we were as consistent with that in the second half of just, this composure. Okay, you've shown me what you're going to do. This is what's working, and let's keep going back to it until they adjust. And so I think that's still an area we can grow in and being engaged that way. But, they played, I would say, 75% zone, tried. And I thought, I could have adjusted, maybe given us some more calls. I went with just a motion offense versus the zone most of the time. But maybe there was some times where I could have given us some more direction. But we turned it over 9 times in this, I think, in the second half. And so we didn't carry over the learning. We always say that success leaves clues. And, success in that second quarter left clues. We didn't just take them and carry them over.
Question for Lauren, and then a quick question for both players. Just, did you spend a lot of time working on, your post passing this offseason? It just seems like you've been handling the doubles a lot better and a lot smoother this season.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've been working on all preseason. I mean, we work on those 45 cuts and those lifts from the guards. I mean, every single day. It's what we do on 5-on-0. It's what we warm up with. It's pretty much turned into a routine for us. But I got to give a shout out to my guards because they've gotten so much better and they've made my job 10 times easier. I don't feel like I have to force any of my shots. I think I just, kind of flow throughout the game. But I think that, DZ today especially, I think she did a really good job of just like finding open gaps and windows and making my job a lot easier. So.
Do y'all know your own wingspans?
No.
I do not know.
I do not. No, I do not. Yeah.
I thought we measured yours last photo shoot. You didn't?
No, I don't think we did.
Question for Coach and Lauren. On Monday night, we spoke about essentially, Rutgers kind of being better in what their record represented, essentially. And tonight, Destiny kind of gave you guys all you could handle. And going against Lauren is no tough feat, let alone just getting a double-double, What type of, difficulties did she present tonight? And just, what does she bring to the floor that others may not see?
Yeah, when I watched her on film, I think the thing that jumped out the most is just how consistently she plays so hard. She's the aggressor on every play. And I just think that's going to take you such a long way. I just think when you set the aggression tone every time the ball hits your hands, you're going to make good things happen. And you're going to get to the free throw line. You're going to get rebounds. You're just going to force difficult rotations. And so, 13 rebounds, 15 points. It's a pretty good, night, especially against a team with as much length and different ways we can come at her. And so, I thought our defense against McMiller was great. And I thought London Jones was spectacular. She got a few shots, but I think we made her think about us a lot. And, but I thought Adams was the other one we were really worried about. And, she found a lot of different ways to be the aggressor and to get the job done. Credit to her.
Hi, Cori. Going back to the trip, back in your previous world, you guys, coaches, always talked about how Tara was, your leader and all. If you go back to that COVID year, when they were away forever and you saw this coming up, did you buzz her for any advice from taking this trip? Or?
I didn't, but actually I really wanted to reach out to her coming up because, this is new territory for us leading from the front. And she's had a lot of experience at that. So I would like to garner some of her wisdom, but just credit to, Tara for all she's done for the game and all she's done for the Pac-12 and West Coast basketball. But, really, she's really been there for me through the years. I was a high school kid at her camp, her first year at Stanford, and then I played against her teams when I was at UC Santa Barbara, and then I obviously coached against her, and she's deserves a lot of credit for what she's done for the game.
Just for the players, Lauren and Kiki, just have an opportunity to play in front of a legend like Coach Stringer and a few celebs were in the building as well. You know, what can you guys say just from your start of playing when you were young girls to now being older women, just seeing the game grow and the evolution of the game in general, and as many fans as possible coming out to support you guys?
Yeah, it's been really, really cool to see that, especially over the past few years. I remember growing up, I didn't know a ton about the WNBA and who the best players were, and I feel like now it's so incredible to see so many young girls know so much about women's college basketball, pro women's basketball, and I think that's just kind of the direction that the game is going in, and it's really, really exciting to see all the fan support. And we played in so many incredible arenas this year, sold out ones, really, really crowded ones, and I think that's one of the things that makes the game so fun, and I always love going on the road and playing against a crowd. And I think it's just so incredible, the growth in this game, and I know that's going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's amazing, kind of like what Kiki said, but I think just like for us continuing to grow the game any way that we can and just continuing to spread like the positivity to young girls. I mean, just to see all like the young fans that were out there tonight at the game, I thought that was really special. So just continuing to do whatever we can to make sure that we just continue to support women's basketball.
Coach and both of the players, but for the coach first. So I've read before that you've mentioned the importance of character and habits. For you, this game, I know you already mentioned some of the things that you saw that you might want to, you know, improve going into your next game, or some of the positive habits and characteristics that you saw from this game.
Look at you being all positive. You know, I think that we gave them specific goals. You know, one of the things is that we wanted to be under 4 points or under in terms of our transition D. We didn't want them to get any more than that. They only got 3 points in transition. You know, we wanted to be 12 or less in turnovers, and we accomplished that. You know, so I think those are some good things. I thought we, you know, regrouped a little bit when we the first quarter. I liked how we went out really strong. We lost our focus a little bit towards the end of the first quarter, and then I thought our response. We talked about reset routines. We work a lot on mental conditioning and time in the mind gym, and I'd really challenge them, like, you have a lot of tools in your toolbox. Are you using them all? And I thought we had sort of a collective response and a collective reset, and as well as individually. I thought some people overcame some disappointments and things that they were struggling with today, and so those are things that we can obviously build on.
All right, for both of you guys, so I know a lot of times with road trips, chemistry builds, you have some fun moments. What has been some of the most fun moments for you guys on this road trip so far?
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think like going to New York, and we went to go see Hell's Kitchen, which is the Alicia Keys Broadway show, which was really cool because some of us had never been to a Broadway show before. And so I thought that was just a really cool experience, and we got to meet the cast after, which is like amazing. Pam is like the most incredible person. I don't know how she set that up, but it was really cool. And like some of us got on the stage and like, you know, tried to like recreate the songs and sing, which obviously did not go very well, but we tried. But yeah, it was just like really cool experience, and everyone had a lot of fun. So
I would say the same. I think, you know, that play was incredible, and just to be able to kind of be on Broadway, to see the cast and everything, and to hear from them afterwards was super fun. We had a great day overall in New York, just exploring, and some people it's their first time in the city, so that was really cool to see, like everyone's reaction to New York City.
And, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, the academic side of this travel. I actually see that as an academic representation. We got to have education in 3D, you know, and I think that is really important. For a lot of our players, that went from something they have seen in movies and read in textbooks to I experienced it. We went to the top of the Eiffel Tower. We did that earlier this year in Paris, in Empire State Building. It's the second time I've done that. But then obviously we went on a boat tour to see and learn about the city and the skylines and the different things. We went to Ground Zero, you know, so I just think those are probably not going to be the things they talk about now, but my responsibility is to create experiences that they remember later and that sort of bridge the gap between education in the classroom and education and what we experience. And I really do believe that I want our administration and our professors and our new chancellor to know that we don't just do this to do X's and O's and wins and losses. We do this as a part of the educational experience, not separate from it.
This is for both players, but also I want you to answer at the end of it, Coach. Earlier today, Amanda talked about having an identity outside of basketball. I'm curious, who is Lauren Betts apart from being a basketball player, and who is Kiki Rice apart from being a basketball player? And then, Coach, how do you perceive them outside of being a basketball player?
I mean, I actually got asked this question earlier, so I can answer that. But I think that for me, it's still something that I'm trying to work on, finding my identity outside of this sport. But I try to remind myself that I'm like a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, and I have so many relationships with people, and they see me beyond a basketball player. And I think that's really important to me with the relationships that I have. But yeah, just trying to, for me, like Tamia Gardner and I actually talk about this a lot, just trying to find any possible way that we can like do things outside of practice, just trying to like, find opportunities that we can just always remind ourselves that like, okay, basketball, it's like a job, but we have so many other things that we can get out of life other than just playing. So
yeah, I would say I'm a friend, teammate, daughter, sister,
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. No, I mean, I think it's once like you get to college, obviously basketball is a huge thing, but I think it's been really cool being at UCLA. Like one of the things I love about it is like the community outside of basketball and outside of just sports. So like just being in LA, like I'm a college student. I like to do fun things, to go to the beach, to hang out, go shopping, do all the regular things. So I think being in an area that like really allows me and like our teammates to do that is really cool.
It's interesting. We used to do this every day, and I probably have dropped the ball to not have them do it more. But we did it last week, I think, is we filled out our What Went Well journals at the end of practice. And at the top of the What Went Well journal, we write, basketball is what I do. It is not who I am. And everything that happens to me today is an opportunity to learn and grow, which is the definition of a growth mindset. And then they write down 10 to 12 things that went well that day that are under their control. And it's very intentional. And some people have actually used that against me in recruiting and said, well, she doesn't care that much about excellence on the court. And so she does that. And I think it's just the opposite. I think people are missing out when they feel challenged and loved and cared about, but also, like you have a responsibility to know how to fill your cup as a human being. You show up as a better version of yourself on the court. And, I think that it actually makes you feel more responsible to master your craft to the person on your right and the person on your left. And so I don't think it takes away from our commitment to excellence. I actually think it enhances it. But, I'm still working on it at 53 years old. And it's a constant reminder. I don't think it's something that you master. I think it's a lifelong healthy tension that you're trying to live in, that you want to be very driven and dependable to work on your craft and to achieve at the highest levels. And I want to know, how am I making a difference in someone else's life? What do I want my legacy to be? What's really going to last in my time with these people? In the end, I am about as driven as you're going to find to want to hang a banner in Pauley Pavilion. But you know what? In the end, banners hang in gyms. And even rings collect dust. And what we say in our program, the only two things that last forever from these 4 years is who you become and who you impact. And I'm reminding myself, I'm preaching that to myself first, but I think that's something we always have to work at, especially in this day and age.
Just going back to the fan base a little bit, Kiki, what's it like? You come all the way from the West Coast, you're out here on the East Coast in New Jersey, and there's a little girl in almost the front row holding a Kiki Rice sign. What's it like to see just your fan base spread across the nation the way it is?
Yeah, it's one of the best things. My favorite part about it, I think. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Maryland, so it's not too far. So when I get to come back to the East Coast, it's really cool to see all the support and fans and everything. But yeah, just seeing so many little girls wearing my jersey, wanting a picture, something signed, and like I always do my best to make time for everyone, because I know if I were in their position, I'd like be so happy and if like the person that I looked up to just took a few seconds just to like recognize them. So it's really awesome. It's probably my favorite thing about this whole thing.
And little boys look up to. That's the cool, I think, is it's not just little girls. I do think representation is so important, and if you see it, you can achieve it. But I love that little boys are just seeing like those guys are ballers, and and it doesn't matter if you're women's basketball or men's basketball. There's just a respect that has grown, and I love seeing the little boys out there wanting to see that. It's pretty cool.
Question for Kiki and a question for Lauren. So Kiki, you just mentioned, you're from Maryland. Next game, you guys will be playing Maryland. What is the thing that you're looking forward to most of basically being home for you?
Yeah, probably just everyone that's going to come. I know we have 3 people who are from the DMV area on this team, me, Kendall, and Z. So to see the kind of whole DMV fan base there. Like a lot of people from my high school are coming, a lot of my family, friends, and everything's going to be there. So I'm just really looking forward to seeing all the people that are going to be there, because it's probably going to be the only time that I'll get to play back at home. So I'm really excited for that.
For Lauren, so with another double-double this game, very versatile, scoring, rebounding, defense, who are some players that you looked up to growing up that you tried to model your game after?
I always say growing up, my favorite player to watch was Aaliyah Boston. She's just a baller. I mean, like, I think the amount of attention she got as a post, like, I just looked up to that so much, because posts really don't get recognized that much in the game, and I think that she just is a great example of, like, someone I want to look like and play like. And I mean, she's just an amazing person as well, but I mean, her game, she's just so strong, and like her skill set is just like amazing. And I remember in high school just always watching her, you know, even honestly, crazy story, but my first ever 3-on-3 game, I played against her, and I was like in middle school, and I was like a little lanky, like very uncoordinated player, and I remember playing against her for the first time, and I was like, who is this? Because she absolutely bodied me like first play of the game. But and then after that, I just continued to watch her, and she's just been a great example. So
All right, thank you guys again for being here. We really appreciate the way you're covering the game, and it really makes a difference.
thank you.